Welcome back to Smart Family Media Center. Announcements from me today are rather light, so Coach Swinney, whenever you're ready, we'll have some opening comments and we'll get questions in the room. Coach.
All right. Hope everybody's doing well, and good to see everybody. Fun day, always a fun day when you can get on the field, but the first day of spring ball is always a ton of excitement and enthusiasm because you got so many new people, especially in today's era of college football with mid-years and things like that. So we got a lot of new faces. But biggest thing is just excited that we get to start over. We get to get back on the field and we get to build a new team. We get to attack a new challenge. So excited about that. Spring ball is different to some people. Some people approach it differently. For me, it's really always about development. That's what spring ball is about. It's about development, just like in the NFL. OTAs is about development. It's about putting your team together. It's about evaluating your team. It's about competition. It's about getting ready for the season. That's all part of it, and it's no different here. So, but I think a big part, especially for the college game, you're really to me, this is a great time to focus on, how we do what we do, the fundamentals and the techniques, the drills, those type of things. You got a little bit more time because you're not getting ready to play a game. So a lot of emphasis on, and then you got so many new people every year. So you kind of go back to some of the foundational things, but the fundamentals, the techniques, and the details of what we do, whether it be position work or things that are within our scheme, and the how we do it and why we do it. That's always a big part of spring practice. And then from a holistic standpoint, it's leadership, it's chemistry, it's team. Those things, the development of that, and that's what we're in process of doing right now. You don't just snap your fingers and have that. Leadership is challenged, leadership is developed, leadership is nurtured, and it rises, and that's all part of your process that you go through, when you get back started as a team in January. So leadership, chemistry of your football team, and then again, team. You got to get everybody all in. You got no chance, unless you get everybody all in, everybody committed to the same standard, and that's what we talk about. And that'll be a big part of what we're trying to do this spring. Just truly everybody committed to the standard of doing their best, just doing the best they can do, thinking their best, working their best, meeting their best, practicing their best, everybody. And that's how you get everybody all in. So that's what we're trying to do. Obviously, we got, a change on offense, so we got to get things installed. And from an offensive standpoint, same thing, defense, kicking game. We got a lot of installation that we got to get done, but it's really not as much about the scheme to me as it is, how we do those things. Blocking, tackling, getting off blocks, sustaining blocks, leverage, footwork, pad level, just the things that really make the schemes go. All right, so really a lot of focus on that. As we get going. Again, as I said, a lot of competition. It's going to be a very competitive spring. We have very few guys that should have any type of sense of peace, if you will, of they're the guy. So there's going to be a ton of competition, and I'm really, really excited about that. Really at every position. Everybody's got to earn it every day. Everybody's got to prove it every day. That's really what it's going to come down to. But again, just excited to get going. I like our roster. We've got 35 guys who have started college football game. All right, 35 guys who started for Clemson, or obviously we've got a few new guys that have come in here that have started at some other places. We've got 60 guys on our team that have college football playoff experience. They've been there. They know what it smells like. That's valuable. We have 57 guys with ACC championship rings, and a bunch of those guys have multiple ACC championship rings. So I like our roster. I like our experience. I like the mixture that we put together, and I really like how they work. So You know, a lot of work has been done in January and February, and now it's just time to get on the field. So from a guys who's not available, we have very few guys out this spring, which is very different from where we were last spring. I had a laundry list of guys last spring that were out. We've only got truly 2 guys that are out all spring, and that's Olsen and Sadler. Those 2 guys are out all spring. Everybody else is back in practice, you know, working back in practice, you know, doing some type of practice. You know, even Wesco, for example. I know that's probably the first guy that comes to your mind. You're going to ask about Wesco. Wesco's doing everything except tackling. He's not going to do. We're not going to do any live work, but he looks amazing. He's flying. You know, but he's going to do all of our team separate stuff with, you know, with all the install. But he'll be held out of all the good on good this spring. That's the one thing he won't be allowed to do. But everything else, I mean, he's timing with the quarterbacks, routes. You know, again, all the install team separate stuff. He's doing all that. Mat drills, done everything. But he'll have no live contact. So he looks amazing. He's doing great. Feel really good about him. TJ Moore. So just some guys that are limited a little bit. Sammy Brown had to have a little surgery on his wrist. He's doing great. He'll be limited, but he'll be rocking and rolling. You know, more and more each day. But he'll be out there in green today. Same thing with Gibson. He had to have a little hand surgery, but he's doing good. Braden Jacobs is doing great. He's working his way. He'll be ramped up each day, a little bit more each day, but he'll be out there getting some work done today. Elijah Thurman is another one. Obviously had some shoulder surgery. He's doing great. He'll be in green. He'll be practicing today, and he'll be ramping up more and more as we go through spring. Told you about Wesco. Amari Adams, same thing. He's going to start out just he'll be an individual the first part of these few practices, and then he'll ramp up as he kind of shows his progression. You know, warrants that. So he's doing really good. Mackay will probably get a little individual, and that's probably all he'll get all spring. All right, so Mackay, you know, will get some Indy, but then that'll probably be limited with him. But Olsen and Sadler will be out. TJ Moore, right now still in yellow. Had a little surgery postseason. But hopefully latter part of spring he'll be getting him and Cole Turner both had very similar surgery and lower body wise, so they're both doing great. They'll both be limited early, but at some point as we get through spring, those guys will ramp up as well. So really in a good spot with just truly 3 guys that right now are out. Everybody else is getting some type of work, so feel good about that. We got 15 mid-years in here, 10 transfers. We got 1 more that'll get here this summer. 6 guys that'll be here this summer with our high school guys and 1 other transfer. So the biggest thing is our team is here now. So all the guys that are back, you know, and we're still probably I think we're number 1 or top in the country in retention. So we got a lot of guys back, and then we added some guys. So we got 25 guys or so that are in practice right now, that are here, that are new. So a lot of work to do, and excited to get started with them. Spring game will be March 28th. I think 1 o'clock is the time there. Always a fun day around here. March 27th is another thing. That's our all-in ball. That'll be the Friday night before the spring game. And, you know, excited to announce that the Roar is going to be our title sponsor. So the Roar will be the title sponsor. They've been great partners with us in helping us, you know, raise money using our platform, the Roar using their platform. Been a great partner, and man, it's been amazing the money that they've helped to raise for the foundation. So they'll be our title sponsor, and we'll just say this, that if anybody wants to, I think there's some single tickets left, some general admission tickets, and then I think there's a few table sponsorships maybe still available. So if anybody's interested in that, and I know the Roar will probably talk about it as well, but y'all can contact Lexi Vick. She's at info@dabosallinteam.com, info@dabosallin.team.com. Lexi can get you any information that you need. So just a couple of housekeeping things there, some general comments, and we'll take your questions.
Tristan Smith, is he here? Can he do
Yes.
anything? Can he actually practice?
Yes, he can do everything.
What's the process with him? 'Cause I think it's 4 days until
Yeah.
June. So will he go through everything?
Yes.
And then you guys won't know till the summer, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, so he can do everything, and then we won't know for sure until June, and then he'll really have two options at that point. So he's able to do everything until then, and then it's he could. If it doesn't go his way, he could probably try to get going into the NFL through their supplemental type of process, or he could stay here and flip over to the Tiger Trust because he still needs to graduate, but he could still train, and he could be a student coach, but he could still do everything. He could still run routes and train and stay ready, and then try to get ready for the combine and stuff. So it's really where we are, and hopefully it'll go his way, especially when you look around the country and you see some of the decisions that get made, compared to his situation. But we'll just have to go through the process.
Did you say Josh Sapp when you were going over? I thought you said
Sadler?
Sadler.
You said Sadler.
Yeah, Sadler. I'm not talking. No, Sadler. Yeah, Sadler. Colin. That's all. He's one of the two out. Three if you count Makai. Makai's getting some more indie work.
With so many transfers, I think you said 35 total guys. Is there anything that changes with acclimatizing so many new faces that feel different at all?
Well, 35 guys with starts on our roster. You've got new guys. You got 15 high school mid-years, and then we got the 10. So it's really was at 25 as far as just true new guys. Now we got 6 more coming this summer. So you have 30 plus new guys on your roster. It's a good mix. But we've typically, with high school recruiting for the most part, the past I don't know how many years, that's pretty much about standard. As far as high school kids coming in, we usually have somewhere between 8 to 15 in high school mid years. That's kind of the trend for those guys. Obviously, this is the most transfers we've had come in. So I'm super excited about getting on the field with them. It's always a fun day because it's the first time you get a chance to coach these guys, especially the high school kids. You've been recruiting them forever. And so now you actually get out a chance to get on the field and really get started with them. That's not a walkthrough because we're limited in what we can do until now. So I always look forward to that. But, you get a feel for them as you go through mat drills, as you watch them train. You see some of the walkthrough stuff. You get a little chit-chat, a little feedback. You start to get a little bit of, game knows game. And these guys, they start chit-chatting. You start to get a little bit of feel for them. But I haven't been on the field with them. And so to be able to get out there, that's always a lot of fun. And then especially for the transfer guys coming in here. I had those guys over for dinner Monday night. And, I mean, it's a great group of guys. And looking forward to kind of seeing where they are. Again, it's a lot more tape to evaluate those guys. So I have a good feel for what I think they are because it's easier to see peer on peer. But they hadn't been in Clemson yet. So excited to see them acclimate into that.
What do you want to see out of Christopher Vizina this spring? So that again, kind of what do you want to see out of Christopher Vizina this spring as he transitions into more of a leadership role? He's been around the program, but now he's in a little bit of a different spot.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see him, take it and run with it. He's, as I said, he's got the pole position, so I want to see him show up every day, not get too high, not get too low, and just show up every single day and prove it. Just bring that edge every day. Obviously, you want to see leadership at that position. I think he's a natural. He's got a lot of, he's got a lot of great relationships with guys on this team. I mean, he's not a guy that just showed up here. He's been working toward this, but really just want to see him take command of the offense, and it's been very familiar for me. Obviously, it's been very, very familiar to me, but it's a little different for him with Chad, being in here now. So, but it's been fun. Been fun watching all those guys prepare, and But just, again, show up every day, prove it, earn it. Great leadership, great command of what he's doing, and handle the good times and the tough times, because they'll both happen in practice.
Any plans to make the quarterbacks live just to get a truer sense of how they react to?
Not unless you're going to let me go recruit some more guys. Yeah, it's. I did that a lot with Denson. I'm assuming that's why you asked the question. I did that a lot with Denson in fall camp because I do think that's a huge part of his game. But honestly, it's a huge part of Tate's game. It's a big part of CV's game. I mean, like, CV can move, he can run, he's physical, he's a big old dude, man, and it's the same thing for Brock. You know, all those guys. I mean, I think that we have a very dynamic athletic group. It's a really good room. We got 5 guys that I believe can play quarterback at this level. We have 5, and we ain't always had that. I mean, again, I go back to our last national championship. We had Trevor, Chase Bryce, and I had to move Hunter Renfro from the receiver meetings to the quarterback room. He was our 3rd team quarterback, and Will Spires went from the punter room to the quarterback room. He was our 4th team quarterback. So we didn't have a lot of room for error. This room it's going to be really competitive. Like, these are all very confident guys that have similar skill sets in some ways and very different in some ways. But we did do that a good bit this fall, Larry. Just again, had a little bit, more room for error in the fall. So that's part of it. But for Denson is an example. I mean, like, you can't just be an athlete back there, running around. His next step is now, okay, you're in there with the 1s and the 2s, and it's throwing on time with the type of throws and precision and all that. That's kind of the next step for him. He really hasn't had that opportunity yet, so they'll all get those opportunities this spring. But as far as making them live, man, it's hard to do that. Now, again, that's Coach Stallings would look at me like I'm crazy, because I had never not been live until I came to Clemson. I'll never forget. Y'all remember Norm Chow? Y'all remember Norm Chow? He was the long time. I think he's been a head coach, but unbelievable offensive coordinator forever, never, never. So I think this is 1996, 5 or 6 or something like that. I'm a young receiver coach, and BYU came to spend a day. I think maybe they were speaking at our clinic or something. They came and I'll never forget it. We're at, like, the fish fry that night, and I guess Norm came over to me because I was the young, wet behind the ears, youngest guy out there, and he came over to me, and he's like, I'll never forget it. He leans over, he goes, "Do y'all hit your quarterbacks like that every day?" It's like, and I went, and I looked at him like, "Yeah, y'all don't hit your quarterbacks?" And he was like, "No," it's like unbelievable. It was like a light, like, what? We don't hit quarterbacks? I mean, Jay Barker got tackled every day his entire college career. It's just the way it was. That's all I knew, and so it's a different time, different era, and different styles of offense and things like that. But hard to go live. But we may do a few things that can kind of help create a little bit more sense of reality.
I think in January you mentioned about filling a special teams coordinator role. Have you guys done that yet?
I'm close to a decision, and hopefully close to finalizing that here pretty soon.
It's been about a month since you were up here for other reasons. What has been your take on
It was the Chad Morris press conference.
Exactly.
True story. Chad Morris. He calls me that night. He goes, "Well, I just tell you what, nobody who knows who the hell the offensive coordinator is at Clemson, I can tell you that." He said, "I could have stood naked on the podium and nobody would have paid attention. You owe me another opening press conference." So, you talking about the Chad Morris opening press conference? True story. I fell out laughing. I was dying laughing in the kitchen. He's like, "Yeah, nobody knows who. You ain't gonna worry about that. Nobody knows who I am." So that was classic.
It's been about a month since that and other stuff. Have you been satisfied with, I guess, first of all, how the NCAA has handled that, and have you gotten feedback from coaches? I know you kind of challenge people to, hey, like, step up, call this out.
Yeah, I just spent a week last week with 20 head coaches, so that was interesting, a lot of fun. Honestly, it's probably it's a great time to get to take your wives and stuff. We were on the Nike trip last week, and you know, it's probably the best professional development thing that I do every year. You know, you get 20 head coaches, you know, all together for a week, and because most of the time when I see a true peer, you know, we're competing. I mean, we're either passing each other and recruiting, you know, or we're competing. So you just don't get a lot of opportunity to truly like be in a setting where it's not like you're not working, so it was a great week last week, and but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think if nothing else, at least we've sparked a lot of conversation. Again, it's not about a player or anything like that. It's really just about like what can and we can't do, and just trying to create some clarity on what that is. But you know, we'll see. It's not about getting people in trouble. It's about like what can we and can't do. Like how many times can you go in and out of the portal in a 2-week period? You know, can you go in 3 times? Can you sign with 3 schools? Like, you know, there's just a lot of things that we need to get some answers from a coaching standpoint, and some things that we got to do better from a coaching standpoint. And I think everybody understands that, but you know, there's no update or anything like that.
How does Chad feel about Chandler trying to get a 7th year? And if he were to get another year, how would that maybe impact Clemson?
Starting quarterback for the Clemson Tigers. Here we go. Breaking news. No, he'd be playing for Tony Elliott in the Virginia Cavaliers. That was also really cool for me last week. Tony and Brent were there for the first time on the trip, and so spending a week with them was awesome. But yeah, he'd be at Virginia. I mean, I assume he'd be at Virginia. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but you know, I'm sure Tony would have something to say about that.
Has Chad said much to you about, you know, going through this process with his son?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We've talked about, you know, just what all they're dealing with, and you know, kind of the background on all of it. Yep.
Coach, you've gotten kind of names on this for Jarvis Green and Jay Haynes. What do you expect? You know, what are you looking for them out of this spring?
Yeah. Well, Jarvis, first of all, you know, and again, that's just kind of part of this business, part of this you know, being a football player is being available, right? Like, it's easy to get forgotten when you're not available. And, you know, guys that can stay available, you know, they develop, they get better, and sooner or later, if they're talented, that talent's going to shine through. And that's really kind of Jarvis's story right now. He's a really good football player, in my opinion, which is why we took him, and was kind of trending in a good direction. And obviously had a big play out in the playoff game and all that stuff, and but then got hurt, and so he's out all year. Now we were able to get his year back, but I tell you, I mean, like, so he was able to get in there those last few practices and bowl practices and stuff like that, just on the practice field. And I mean, he just every time you see him, he reminds you, like, man, this is a really good player. He's just a natural runner. He has great vision. He's got contact balance. He's low to the ground. Everything he does is natural. He's a great effort guy. He just got to be available long enough to really truly compete. Same thing with Jay Haynes. Jay Haynes was a red shirt guy, a guy we were really high on, rose up to number 2, and really was productive. If you really look at his red shirt freshman year, I mean, we had Shipley and Maffa, Shipley first year, and then I guess it was Maffa. If you really look at his production, he was a productive player and kind of on his way. And then obviously that was a really bad injury that he had in the championship game. And so it's been a lot for him working his way back. So, just I think we're all like, okay, where are we? I got a little more feel for Jarvis just because I got a chance to see him at the back end of the season there, get some live work and things like that. Jay has just now really fully been cleared to go. So, like I said, a ton of competition, a ton. And then Easy E, the big opportunity for him this spring. Obviously, Gid is coming off a good freshman campaign. And then we got, CJ in here, another CJ. I guess you're just fast if you're CJ. So we got him in the mix. It's a very productive player. He's been a very productive college player. I think he averaged 10 yards a carry against us. So glad to have him.
Dabo, have you communicated with Pete Golding at all?
No,
For this?
no. I don't know him.
He wasn't on the next trip.
No.
Any updates from the NCAA on that?
Nope.
You added a track and field former athlete, Carlito Jones. How did that process go?
Boy, y'all are digging deep.
It's on the roster.
Man, y'all digging deep. Yeah, I just met Carlito. Yeah, he nice kid. I think he's went to Pendleton. He is a giant. I was like, he was at my house Monday night. I'm like, holy cow, you are a big old dude. But I think he was a track guy, shot, discus, stuff, and I think he was a guy that maybe got caught up in the transition with the settlement and rosters and all that stuff. But really nice kid, big old body. We're looking for anybody we can find. Everybody's, if you really understand the whole process of what designated guys are, non-designated guys, all that type of stuff, because that's something we all talked about. That's like designated guys. There's like everybody's recruiting them. Like we're recruiting guys that are designated that are in the portal, so we can, because they don't count on your roster. And so that was the part of the grandfathering deal, and so that we can have more than 105 for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more years when all that goes away. It's going to get real when it gets to a hard 105. So we're trying to find as many 105 guys or designated type guys, or guys that maybe have 1 year left that can come in and really just practice. That's really what we're looking for, is have some guys that can help us, have a practice squad type of deal. but a nice kid.
What percentage of guys on the 105 are not on scholarship? Are there guys that aren't on scholarship in the 105?
Our 105, all our 105 will be on scholarship, and then we'll got guys. I don't know. We were at 126 last year, I think. We're not there. We're down. We're trying to find some guys, but it's hard. It's hard.
Carlito's on scholarship, or
No,
designated guy?
no, he's not on scholarship.
On the spring practice schedule, there's a game after the spring game, a practice after the spring game. Just curious, why did you, schedule it that way? Not in the
Easter's the next weekend, and everybody get mad at me if I got spring game on Easter. And the next weekend's the Masters. So, you work somewhere long enough, you learn a few things. I'm a slow learner, as a lot of y'all like to say, but, just timing. And so really that practice, that practice is what we usually do on our 14th practice. Our 14th practice every year, we really take that practice to really coach them up for the summer and really teach our skills and drills and the whole, how you're supposed to go about. When we're not out there, when they do their skills and drills twice a week or 3 times a week, as we get closer to the season, we do get out on the field with them some late summer with limited type walkthrough stuff. But man, the skills and drills is a big part of the preparation. So instead of just, all right, you boys go have at it, we like to take that day. We just moved that day from that right before the spring game. We moved it to the Monday after. So really that's all that is. And it's just the way the calendar fell this year with where Easter was, where spring break is, all that type of stuff. So we always try to be done that first weekend of April. That's because we're done in April. It's the last week of class is the last week of April. And then our guys, they're rolling. We got a trip to Australia. We got micro internships from Europe to California. There's a lot going on. Some guys, just go home. Some guys go train. But, we get out really early from a calendar. Some people get out mid-May. So then our guys come back that 23rd or whatever it is, that last week of May, and then we start our summer 1 program. Then they get a little break around the 4th, and then we start our summer 2 program. But I like to have a good 3, almost 4 weeks of training going into the off season. So you come out as a spring game, you have exit meetings, you got a lot of that stuff going on, and then really good training, post spring training. So that's kind of been what drives it all. That could all change too if they go to more of an OTA thing. You might do a few days in March, you might do a few days in May, you might save some days more for the summer. All that stuff could change, but that's kind of how we've always done it. But the calendar, really, if we didn't have Easter that following weekend, we probably wouldn't have started today. We would have started this weekend, as opposed to Wednesday.
Jeremiah Alexander, is he cut out to play some will as well, or is he?
Yeah, absolutely. He the arrow's up by him. He made a lot of progress for us last season. And again, if you really look at Jeremiah and you just get past what he looks like, because he looks like, it's unbelievable, right? He's a specimen. But if you really track him and you get away from the recruiting and all that stuff, and this guy was, he really hadn't played much linebacker. And he had it was a transition. But the good news is he made the majority of the transition at Alabama. And they did a good job with him there. He just didn't get a lot of opportunity. So when he came here, and he got better, and he got better, and he got better, and he got better. But he's still a young linebacker. But you know what he is? He's a really good football player. That's what he is naturally. He's naturally a good football player. But he's learning how to be a good linebacker. And I thought he made really great strides. I really did. I thought Ben did an excellent job with the backers last year. I thought Wade had his best year. Sammy had his best year. Kobe McLeod has really improved. Jeremiah got better and better and better and better. We've got a good little group in there, and so that's going to be a competitive group. Kuba, Fletcher's a guy that's got some experience now that we think can help us. Drew Woodaz is 220 something pounds. He looks great. It's a good group that we've got, and obviously Riley will be coming in here this summer. We'll have one more that'll add on there, but Jeremiah is if he keeps progressing, and now he's year 2 in a system. So we got high hopes for him, high expectations. We need him to be a great player for us.
What are you looking to see out of the trio of mid-years at wide receiver?
The 3 freshmen?
Yeah.
And I mean, they're as advertised. First of all, just seeing them move around athletically. These are great looking kids. One thing I'll say, Burrows is bigger than I thought he was. Like this kid is. He is put together. He's thick. I mean, he is strong. He's a little longer than you think. But, Salmon can fly. He's probably the fastest guy. I mean, I can't wait. We ran all these guys, and we're going to run them again in May. It's going to be, and I think Jacoby's going to run them too. So I think Jacoby's going to actually commit to running and seeing if he can still be down there in the 4.4s. He said if he runs below 4.4, he's never running again. We got some speed in that group. Sellers is explosive. He's natural. He's a smooth guy. Salmon, like I said, big, strong, can fly. I mean, he is a rocket. And then Burrows is, just gifted, from a athletic standpoint, explosive. So it's a good group, as advertised when it comes to the measurables that we're looking for. We'll get out on the field and start seeing, where it goes as far as transfer and installation and putting it all together.
It's a small thing, but Ronan Hannafin on social media said he was a safety / linebacker. Is he playing more of a hybrid role, or is he just a straight safety?
He's safety. Yeah, I mean, he did some of that last year. What we call our lion package. We got a tiger, we got a lion. What else goes in that family? About a cheetah. We got a cheetah somewhere in there, but so he did some of that last year, like situational personnel, situation type stuff, going against personnel, down and distance, those type of things, where you're just getting more speed on the field. from a coverage standpoint, blitz standpoint. So he did a little bit of that's just kind of what we call our lion position.
Tom was really direct.
During the season, after the season, about what type of guys he wanted to play defense for him. How did kind of his voice play a role in the transfer process, just looking back, and how big of a part was he in identifying all those
I mean,
transfers?
it wasn't a situation where Tom walked in and said, I want that guy, go get that. That's not how we operate here. In any form or fashion. We're collaborative, but we just identified who we thought the best safeties were. We all watched them, and we all agreed. It wasn't like, no, we like this guy. No, it was pretty quick for us. We got it down to like a top 4 or 5 guys, and then we just went after them. So you just, it's not like one person walks in and watches the tape and says, this is what we're doing. We got a huge department. Kevin Kelly is a huge, he's director of our evaluation. I mean, it's everybody's opinion, and hopefully we can be, really, really good and minimize mistakes, when it comes to evaluation standpoint. But, easy to watch the tape and say, man, Jerome Carter, Corey Myrick, so then, okay, who do we like on tape? Who's a good player? But then it's who's the right fit, you get it, who are they as people? You get into all the other stuff. Where are they academically? There's a lot of things that go into making a decision, but we were very strategic in how we put this thing together. That's what the frustrating part about the linebacker was, right? We were taking one backer, and, we cancel all these other visits because we're done. And so then, that was the frustrating thing about that situation. So that's why we need clarity, like, can you do that? Because that's a problem. But we identified those guys early as a group, and then, Nolan, honestly, Nolan was probably the biggest voice of anybody, as kind of the head coach of his position. Like, man, these guys, and then we all come in and say, all right, yes, and then we rank them, and then we say, all right, well, let's set these visits, and then you go from there. And we brought them in first for a reason, and I'm glad we got them. So once we got them, we were done.
Does that process help you with high school evaluation? Maybe as you look at those guys the first time around, or does it help you?
Did we look at those guys? No, I don't. We didn't recruit either one of those guys out of high school. But some of these guys we knew about. Elliott Washington out of high school, Donovan Starr. We would have gotten him. Honestly, I really think we were going to get him. He waited too late, and we filled up with a guy, and then at the end, that guy left us, and he had already gone to Auburn. So, honestly, Donovan didn't even visit when the portal opened. He just packed up and came to Clemson, because but their coach got let go there and all that. He didn't take a visit. He literally just went home, got his stuff, and came to Clemson. So, first time I saw him was when he was here for school. But so so that helped. We had a pretty good feel for him coming out of high school.
Last season,
Same thing with London. We recruited him pretty heavy coming out of high school.
I think last season you said you had confidence in about 7 offensive linemen being starters. Where's your confidence in this year's group entering 2026?
I love the group. We got a lot of bodies. It's going to be really competitive. That's to be determined once we get through spring, and let's see where all these guys are. I'll say this, man, Matt's done an amazing job putting it together. These five dudes that have shown up here, well, this is an impressive group of people. Unbelievable watching them go through mat drills. So we'll see where they're on the field, and then obviously we got Adam Guthrie coming this summer to go with it. But I love the group. I love the guys back. We got a lot of guys back that have played, and I think we're going to have. I will say this. I think we're going to have more tackles than we've had in quite a while, which is huge. I think we got probably 8 guys that can play tackle for us as we see it going into spring. We'll evaluate that and see if that changes or somebody else adds to it, or if it comes down coming out of spring. But we've got a lot of work to do between now and then.
About 60 more seconds.
Also last season, some players were cross-training. Is that kind of the same thing with players this season?
Sure. Always. That's part of spring. You got guys that got to play center. You got, Elijah Thurman's a 5-position guy. He's a true 5-position guy. Very few guys like that in college football. and has played 5 positions, in his career at high school, so forth. So we got a bunch of guys that got a snap, because you got to have plenty of guys there that can operate, and then you need guys like a Sadler. Sadler is truly, I think he hasn't really played center, but I think he could. He's a very athletic guy. He's played 4 positions for us. So when you have guys like that, Elijah Thurman, Sadler, Braden Jacobs, when you have guys who can do that type of thing, that's a big plus for you. Because again, you want to get your best 5, and it's hard to take true guards and say go play tackle, but you can find a tackle that could go play guard if you need be. But the more you can cross train and create depth and functional depth, the better.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.